Hey everybody, Randy Kertz here for Bass Musician. So we usually talk about health in this column, and we're going to do the same thing this month. I'm here with the great Chuck Rainey and John Anthony Martinez today. And today I met Chuck Rainey many years ago because he had an issue with his hands, and I think this is something that we would like to talk about: sleeping position. Take it away, Chuck.
Well, I was having trouble with, as I stepped on my left side, like this. And I would get like this right here. And I began to have problems here.
Yep.
Right here. Although I do both things this way and this way, but mainly left side. I was just having trouble with it being always stiff. Although when I start to play, the stiffness went away, but just walking around normally,
Sure.
I was having problems.
Yeah.
So like once, you gave me your exercises and told me not to do that.
Right.
It stopped. But then my body went to the other side. The same thing happened right through here. But I'm right-handed, so this is my strong hand.
Got it.
The same thing. So now what I try and do when I lay down is I put my hand under the pillow so that it's flat,
Right.
rather than like this. And it's kind of hard because the hand comes out during the night.
Sure.
It comes out and then it goes right back to that habit.
Yeah.
So how you sleep is very, very important.
So when we're talking usually about things that players do, whether it's bending their wrist or holding themselves in a proper way or posture, this goes to show you that things in your everyday life can also intrude. In this case, sleeping position. So many of us unawares will sleep with our hand curled up or our wrist, and this is Chuck is telling you that if you can keep your hand a little more flat and not have it underneath or in a place where you're going to be all bunched up like that, something you don't even know because you're sleeping, this is something to sort of pay attention to. And even though you can't tell when you're sleeping, how you start is how you finish sometimes. So if you're aware of that before you lay down, that may be helpful.
Also too, rather than get in the habit of doing this, what I also do is do this. Because now it's kind of hard to do that. So to do this,
Okay.
if it's going to be a habit. And I don't like sleeping on my back because I have a tendency, I have this thing to where I can't breathe. Or I stop breathing for a second because when I lay on my back, I forget what they call that. So like I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
I'm trying to lay here and also to put my hands like this, and sleep like this. Because I can't do this. If both hands are together. So that does help a whole lot. Because you have to play. You've got to be able to move these things without it hurting.
You bet, you bet. So Chuck, I know that you're here with John, who's a percussionist, as part of your Rhythm Intensive course. Now this is a new course that you two have developed in order to help players to learn in a camp-like environment, not only rhythm and playing and exercises, but you've also had me come in and talk about posture and injury prevention a couple times. Would you like to talk a little bit more about Rhythm Intensive?
Sure. Rhythm Intensive is we call it a para-music education organization. We try to come alongside music educators and to give them some tools and to equip them to do their jobs better, to educate students not just in how to play their instruments properly, but also how to engage in the business of music, give them skills that will help them whether they decide to pursue music as a career or not. There's a lot that people can learn from musicians. We're serial entrepreneurs, we're freelancers, we're giggers, and so in an economy that's increasingly freelance-based or gig-based, business people can learn a lot from us too. So we have a new seminar program and a book called The Tune of Success, The Tune of Success, and we're offering people, if they go to the website tuneofsuccess.com/free, and pre-order the book, we'll spend an hour and give them a free consultation with one of us. So
that's great.
I encourage you to check it out. And there's lots to do, and we're thankful that you're part of our family, man. It's always been great to have you. And as a drummer, carpal tunnel is a serious problem that we have to deal with. And so things like the Alexander technique or the Moeller technique, there's ways to prevent injury. Because I tell you what, when it hurts, you can't play.
That's true. So here we have a couple of different perspectives about injury prevention from these gentlemen presenting the Rhythm Intensive course, which will include injury prevention as well as learning how to play like you should be able to play, like a rhythm machine. The great Chuck Rainey.
One thing that's interesting about talking with you is that you're a bass player.
Yes.
And being that you are also a doctor and chiropractor, it's important to hear from you with your experiences, because you have to do the same thing I have to do. You've got to do this, which is already abnormal. You have to do this, which is already abnormal. But you've gone through those motions as a player. And so knowing too about the muscles. And in our classes, in our rotations, in his rotation, well, in your rotation, it helps other players to really, they may not get it today. But when stuff starts hurting, like John says, if it hurts, you can't play. The only time it hurts and you have to play is when you are trying to develop calluses. You got to keep playing. But when this hurts, when the muscles hurt, you can't play. So it's best to be aware of that all the time.
That's it.
You know, be aware of it.
So there you have the voice of experience. If he doesn't know it, nobody does. Chuck Rainey, John Anthony Martinez, Randy Kertz at Summer Namm, for Bass Musician, signing off. See you next month. Thanks. Bye-bye.